Hi, Phyllis. I can't hear you, but I can see you.
Hi, Kate. You hear me now?
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Phyllis.
If you're here, you shouldn't get on this, should you?
Well, I'm going to mute it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because you can't have too many people talking. It's not.
Yeah, I'm going to mute it and just.
Okay.
Yeah, but the head was off, and it was about 130 yards from the house. So I had to track it. So I tracked all the little feathers, pieces here.
Wow.
The head was off at 130 yards in the house in the woods. I'm thinking that fox came again.
Wow.
Is that the chicken you're talking about?
Yeah, another one. It was a big fat one at Workington. So.
Do you have them in at night?
Yeah, we put them in at night, but this was at 7 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, Mary Ellen, hers out.
Hey, I'm gonna write an article. I don't know how much writing it's gonna be, but it's for the Carol's Vacation Edition. It's gonna be about chicken coops in Chelsea. So if you have a coop, or if there's some that you know that you see around on the back rows that are kind of funky or handmade, I just want to have like a survey, kind of just like a fun kind of feature piece. So let me know if there's some that.
Mary Ellen has several coops.
Really?
She got some new chickens. She got old chickens, but she got some new ones too this year. And she couldn't find a coop anywhere. Lumber was out of sight. So she found one someplace off in New York. The cutest little coop you ever saw.
Yeah.
She couldn't build it for that. It was secondhand, but it's the cutest little coop. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Hey guys.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. How are you?
Hot.
At least a little better in here.
Well, it feels it when you first come in.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, then it goes away. I don't know why, then it goes away.
So we get
The construction site was pretty hot this week, huh? Up on 113. Oh God, everybody's hearing that. Everybody's hearing me talk. Those poor people standing there with those signs. Oh my God. Wicked hot.
What's that?
I said it's always good when you lose a couple pounds.
You don't want to die doing it.
We were looking at old pictures and my kid goes, "Who's that?" I was like, "That's me." He's like, "Oh my God, I'm skinny." Yeah, I do.
And you can sit on allowance.
7:28.
Hey, Phyllis.
Yes.
Before we get started, or when we get started, would you mind just telling the Zoom who's in the town hall?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that you, Scott? Captain, you? Oh, wow. Impressive. Uh-oh. You want somebody else? We got here.
All right. You all set, Mark? Kate, are you good to go?
I am.
Okay, Kate, I'll tell you who's here, and
All
then you
right,
can
so
start.
I'll just call the meeting to order first, and then Phyllis will list the folks that are here.
Okay, we have Jen Waters, Steve and Kate Thomas, Orange County Sheriff Bill, and Captain Scott Kluwer, and Kevin Cullen, and Marianne.
Thank you.
That's it.
Kate, you've got people online, right?
So I'm not, so yes, so I have Lexi Krupp, who's just saying hello by video. I've got, is Jeff in the town hall or is Jeff on Zoom only?
Zoom. Zoom only,
What
but
is-
he's not here yet.
He's not there with you. Okay.
Zoom.
So Jeff is on, oh, there he is. Jeff's on Zoom. And then is Mark in the town hall with you? I don't know if I
Mark's
heard his
here.
name. Mark's there. So that's it. It's just Jeff, Lexi, and myself. And then everybody else is in the town hall.
All right, thank you. So, board members, do we have any conflict of interest to disclose? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to, do we have any changes to the agenda? I know we're going to focus on the police contract for this meeting. All right, so is there a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the previous select board meeting that was 14 June?
Yeah, I move to approve the minutes for June 14th. Select
All right,
board.
so Kate has moved to approve the minutes for the 14 June select board meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark Whitney seconded. Is there any further discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Jeff? Jeff.
Sorry, aye.
He's
All right.
I
So,
just I done mute you.
so the minutes are approved. All right. So let's go on to the, we have a section for public comments regarding the Orange County Sheriff contract for police services. Anyone, first we'll start with folks in the town hall, and then Phyllis will pick folks on the computer. So do we have anyone in the town hall? All right, thank you. So Phyllis, do you have anyone?
Does anyone here have a comment on Zoom? No comments? Okay.
I don't believe
Alright,
so.
so-
Thank you.
All right, so we'll move out of that section and have Mark Whitney take it away to give us an update and lead.
Sorry, if you could just, sorry to interrupt, but LeVar's audio just went out.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to have Mark take it away now and to lead the discussion for the sheriff's contract.
Thank
So
you.
Mark, I'll shut me off and you can go in there.
Thanks, Phyllis.
There. At this time, I don't know that there's much we can really want to change with the contract. I think moving forward, reading over the contract, there's very little place in that contract for us to make any direction or comment to the services. The way the contract reads, it's solely up to the sheriff to decide how he wants to, or they want to patrol the town, and how they want to provide the services. I think moving forward, we'll need to put a place in there for us to have a little more input into that.
And this is Bill responding to Mark.
So Mark, to answer the question solely, the answer is no. Everybody in this room has a part of it. If there's an issue that we need to address, we need communications, Steve, right? You started the neighborhood watch? Yes, sir. All right. I'm offering to you and to all the people that are involved in the neighborhood watch a couple things.
Audio seems to have gone out again in town hall. I don't know if cannot hear you guys. Yeah, we're not able to get any sound. I'm not sure if something just got unplugged. Maybe if we could switch over to LeVar or Mark's audio just so we can hear. The video doesn't need to. Thank you. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
You might
Take this on this one.
I'm going to turn this one off.
Dude, what's that? What the heck is that?
It's feedback. It's too close.
Okay, try that. Ask it. Can you hear him now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt.
Steve, to you and any members of the Neighborhood Watch program, at any time, I'm offering, you do ride-alongs with us, also communications. We have an email address set up. We'll share it with you. You have some suspicious activity in the neighborhood, whatever, send us an email on it. All right. If the select board or, you go to the select board or you send me an email saying, hey, we're having issues, saying you're at your place, I'll just for example, we'll address it. So
how does that work with your hours of contract?
You have to come up
Well,
here. You have to come up
So
here.
that's
Andrew.
Kate.
well,
All right.
So
Repeat it.
Kate
Yeah,
Thomas
repeat
had
your
a
question. Yeah.
about the contract hours.
So my question is what would that mean for the contract hours? So if we have an issue outside of your Chelsea contract, what would that mean?
so a couple of different things.
Repeat your question, would you, Bill, so people know what she asked?
All right. What's your first name again?
Kate.
Kate had a question on how do we take care of stuff outside the contract hours? Well, even though it's roughly 4 hours a week, we already had incidents where we used like 8 hours or more on one incident. So those hours they're really flexible. So we could, towards the end of the contract, even not use some, or maybe if there's nothing going on, we won't patrol. All right. 4 hours is not much because you consider in a week's time 198 hours. So 194 hours are not covered by it. But is that really true? It's not, because there have been incidents in town, especially during the daytime, because we do have the 2 full-time detectives at the SIU, the old Chelsea Health Center. If they're available on a call, they've been going out on several times. If we got a vehicle or a patrol car coming over, gassing up, and there's an incident, they'll go. So, there's many times where, it's late at night, we don't have anyone out. Sure, we're not available. But on any serious incidents, we've been coming out, and we even pulled people from Randolph, our contract in Randolph, to come over a few times already on serious incidents that are occurring in your town. Is it perfect? No, it's not. But we're we're flexible and we're trying to do the best we could for the town. You know, I'm offering that. The communications, you know, there's a huge communications breakdown. We had we recorded 6 suspicious incidents, and I think the state police were here a week ago, and they said they had 10 incidents in town, something like that, suspicious incidents.
A lot of it's not being recorded anymore. People
Right.
don't bother recording anymore.
So that's Stephen Thomas. He said that a lot of the incidents are not being reported.
You know, I mean, I'd be happy to come up.
Yeah, come on up, Steve.
I think a lot of the problem is there's no confidence in town with the sheriff. A lot of time, myself, for example, I've called the sheriff before and it's taken weeks for people to show up. I mean, last night, we didn't even think to call the sheriff because we don't expect anyone to be there to help. That's since I moved to town, it was almost 7 years ago. That's what I was told when I moved to town. Don't rely on the sheriff. You know, I called last week just for a legal question. I needed to know a question about having my cameras in my property, and no one would even help me. I called. I said, I just need a legal question, and she said, "There's no one here to help you. Sorry." And I got hung up on. Basically hung up on. Not click, but no one's here to help you. Sorry. You know, so there's no confidence with the sheriff. There's no confidence that you can call them and anybody's going to come. In the years I've been here, I've seen the sheriff pull 3 or 4 people over. You know, and I understand you said we're flexible and all that, but we just don't see it. That's not there.
All right. You know, we get calls for a variety of things that go on in town that probably a lot of people don't know about, or they say, "Hey, why are you patrolling on West Hill? Why are you patrolling in certain areas?" It's because we're getting calls there. Just like just down the road here, we set up the radar cart because we get complaints of speeding through the village. You know,
Speeding's the least of our worries right now.
yeah, until somebody did. Yeah, I know. We're trying to be as flexible as possible. You know, like I said,
It's just discouraging to have you guys right there. And
Right.
to know that we can't rely on you in an emergency. I mean, there's been, in the past 3 nights, there's been 2 instances where I myself, who's just a normal citizen, came to the village and had to sit and watch people making drug deals. Passing out in the back of the truck. And I don't even think to call you guys because if I do, I know I'm not going to get it. We're not going to get any help. And that's, you know, that's really discouraging to have law enforcement in town and just
well,
not have you there.
I know our office is there, but we're not staffed 24/7. We are not.
No.
You know,
It's just, you know, I'm not in a position to make any decisions or discuss, but I can't wrap my mind around why, to be blunt, why we're paying you guys anything. Because we don't get, I mean, from a community member standpoint, no one sees anything from the sheriff. Nobody does. And it's just, it's upsetting. It's what it boils down to, you know?
yeah, I'm really sorry you feel that way, but we are doing stuff in town here. Back several months ago, when you had this suspicious person trying to pick up children, all right, we investigated it, and actually, one of the reasons I asked my captain to come along is he was the investigator. You know, we spent a lot of time on it. We interviewed 7 kids, and out of the 7 kids, only the first child. Everything else there was nothing there. It was just people seeing someone with a white beard, an older guy with a white beard, and they told their parents, and the parents called it in. But it turned out to be, you know, when we investigated it, you know, Scott, if you want to add anything to that, but we are doing stuff in town.
So I guess my one other question I have for you, are you aware of what happened in town last night?
No,
So that's a huge problem. I mean, the state police and the sheriff don't talk to one another, and there was state police here. You know, there was some stuff that happened last night and with people that live just about next door to you guys. You know, and there's no, like you said, there's zero communication between just things, because I don't know if maybe there's frustration on the state police part as well, but there's a breakdown somewhere that's really, it's causing a huge problem in town.
yes, no. You're not the first person to say that, and it's true. It's hard to get information.
State police don't tell you when they're coming for something?
No,
Do they, is there any time when they do call you and tell you? Or is it just last night was an instance where they did it?
No, even my captain, he's shaking his head no.
So Steve, I have a
Please.
question for you. Did anyone call that last night?
Yes,
Okay.
I called and Kate was on the phone with the state police.
Okay.
I was basically saying dispatcher, they were saying cops. Okay.
Well, back to the contract.
Yes.
The point in the contract, I'm not saying that you're not open to having people ride along, but the contract states that you're in control and that we have no input. That's the way it's read. I mean, I'm not saying you're not willing to talk, but in the wording of the contract, you have the right to tell us, sorry, this is what I want to do.
Right, but we're not doing that. We are not doing that. That's what I want to make clear.
But my point is, it's in the contract. So in the future, we're going to look to possibly change the wording a little bit, just to make that a little more flexible.
Sure.
I'm not saying you're not willing to talk. My point is that for the wording of the contract, you have the legal right to say, well, we have a contract, I don't care. And that's something I think we need to change.
Right. If hear the word, please anyone, don't take the wrong way. I don't care, you're wrong. If I didn't care 7 years ago, when I became a taxpayer in town, I give back to the town almost $7,000 a year. So I could have very easily took the Chelsea Health Center and said, I'm a government entity and I want to be tax free. I didn't, because I'm able to rent out the bottom part of that building. And so I'm giving back to the town. I put that back on the tax rolls. So that's, $7,000 that, if I didn't care about it, I could use it somewhere else.
So Mark,
It comes out that per your contract, it comes out to 5.08 hours per week.
5.08 hours.
That's for the amount that we pay in grand total divided by the $48 an hour, it comes out to 5.08 hours. a week. 52 a week here.
How much a year?
Mark, I want to, 12,500. Mark, I want to make a comment here about the communication, since we're on that. One of the concerns, obviously, that we have here is communication. That's, communication among, the town and Orange County Sheriff's Department, communication between the town and VSP, and communication between the town and, VSP and the Orange County Sheriff's Department. So I think one of the organic initiatives that the town has taken, Stephen, in particular, is that community watch initiative. And it's, I'm not sure how robust or how organized it is at this point, but what the board is hoping, and a lot of us have expressed this, that we could have you be in contact or linked to the community, any community watch initiatives, so that somehow that, if there's an issue that the group finds, or if people are, coming across things, that they can send you information, maybe to that email as you suggested,
Right.
but somehow that we just want to have like some better connectivity with that.
Right. What my plan to do here was, maybe some of you know Sergeant Gene Bartow. They call him JM. He works 1 day a week here for the ambulance squad, and so he's a familiar face around town. And I'm going to assign him to be like a liaison for Chelsea.
Bill, were you saying that currently, if there's a problem, we have to call 911 to go to the state police?
Yes.
Right. Are you saying you set up a separate email so we can bypass that and send you an email
Yeah.
about something
If you
suspicious?
got something,
If there's an emergency.
if there's an emergency, you call 911.
Yeah.
I'm just
I-
saying something suspicious, a little
Right.
bit, or something like that. You were saying you
If you
have
have
an email
some
sent.
suspicious activity going on, you know, I'll just say it, it's like, you heard last week from Lieutenant
Oh, Kessler.
Barbara
Kessler.
Kessler,
Yeah.
right? Great person. And there's some talk about this is, they wouldn't come out for a suspicious call. It wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So you get these suspicious incidents, send us an email. Because what we, if we can't come out right away, maybe we could look and say, hey, there's a pattern going on here. You know, part of, you know, my talk tonight was, you know, data collection. That's why communications is, it does work. I'll give you one example. Several years ago at the bar, there was an issue every 3 months, like clockwork. There was one band that was playing, and it was a crowd from Barry that came down, and all hell would break loose 1 o'clock in the morning. And Mr. Keene was constantly complaining about this. So I went back and I'm like, I looked at the stats, and what I determined, it was every 3 months, like clockwork. Frank Keene called every 3 months for a whole year. So 4 times he called. So I got hold of Tim Moore and I says, hey, Tim, what band is playing on this night? And it turned out to be some band from, you know, the Barry area, which attracted all these people from Barry down here. And so I said, Tim, simple solution. When that band plays, have the bouncer stand outside instead of inside. And Tim did that, and problems went away. So using data to, you know, maybe solve some of the incidents, it's not perfect, but it, you know, it does work. You know, you say, you know, why is a lot of this stuff happening is drugs. There's no doubt about it. The heroin and crack cocaine in this area, there's a lot of it. You know, we've been dealing with 2 people that came over here. They stole the Silhouette truck, and they stole the 4-wheeler, the Julie's.
Yeah.
You know, we've been chasing them around. Our first incident was March 11 with them. We arrested them with 10 grams of heroin and 3,000 in cash. And the person, she's homeless. And usually when you have no ties to the community, they put you in jail. No, they released her. And they've been 5 counties they've been burglarizing in, 5 counties. And they arrested 8 times and released 8 times. And they're still wanted today. They're still out and about somewhere. So, and I'm not trying to.
You guys, that's the legislature, and that's the law.
That's our legislators. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. This bail reform, and I've been speaking out quite a bit about that. So, you know, are we perfect? No, not by any chance, any means. But I can tell you this: we are trying. We're trying to do the best we could. And, you know.
So if we pay, if our contract covers 5.08, so 5 hours on a typical just stop.
And this is Stephen.
Is there a lot of paperwork involved in that? So does that, if that one stop takes say 30 minutes, does that account for 3 hours of the contract? Is there a typical number that you go by? Or? So like if you pull somebody over and you give them a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
Right, and that whole stop takes 15 minutes. Does the town get charged 15 minutes, or is there more paperwork beyond that we get charged for?
No, so you get charged for it. Yeah.
Not at this point. I guess we need to address the.
Yeah, I'll just make one other comment then. So it seems like we're in general agreement that, Bill, you'll set up an email for us specifically the community watch folks to, you know, send information to, and you'll, like I said, the concern that the board has is that just we keep that contact, that we have that link to the community group. So, and you know, while we might not do it in this contract, but in the future, there might be a piece there specifically relating to like that linkage, or what else, Mark, or maybe the directed patrols or something like that.
Right. But even, you know, to maximize your 4 hours, if, you know, you notice it's a Thursday night or Friday night that, you know, you feel like we should be out there, then let me know. We'll change our schedule up a little bit. We'll change it so we get somebody out here.
LeVar. LeVar,
All right, Mark,
Can
do
it-
you wanna
can anybody hear me?
make a motions to approve, or is it emotional? Would you continue the discussion?
I mean, they're not talking about changing the contract at this point in
No.
time anyway. It's old. We haven't
I'll
signed
make a
it.
motion that we approve the contract as it is.
All right, so motion has been made by Mark Whitney to approve the Orange County Sheriff's Department policing contract. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We can't hear her.
Two board members online, and
I'm talking.
We can't
Can you
hear.
guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Jeff can hear me. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, we got you, Kate.
Yeah. I'll second that.
All right, the motion has been seconded by Kate. All right, is there any further discussion?
Well, yeah, sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't hear me. I've been trying to ask questions.
Bill, you can still do that now.
Okay. So I had a list of questions for the sheriff that I wanted to hear his answers on. Can I ask those now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Wait a second, let me make sure we're set up. We don't want a feedback from this one, right? How do we turn this one?
I don't know. Give it back to her.
Let's put this one on mute, and then let's use this one that you've got, Phyllis. All right.
Thank you, guys. All right. Bill, I don't know, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you. So my first question is kind of twofold, is do other towns similarly sized to us in Orange County have a similar problem? And if so, how does our $12,500 yearly contract compare with theirs?
The only one that I could think of is Brookfield. And Brookfield's issue is the floating bridge with traffic, parking. So they requested that we patrol more hours in the summertime when the floating bridge is open and less hours in the wintertime. And
Okay.
we've been doing that.
And so I have only been on the board for 1.5 years now, so I wasn't part of the board whenever this kind of, sorry, the feedback is getting me. I'm wondering how we came, or how it came about that 4 or 5 hours a week was deemed appropriate for our town. Is that was that a conversation that you had with a previous board?
Actually, yes. Originally started out, I believe, at $6,000, and then over the years it went to $8,000, and then $10,000, and then finally $12,500. As we got more involved with incidents in the town. There was one point we were answering 3/4 of the complaints in Chelsea. The state police were answering 1/4.
And what would you say that is now?
Kate, did you say something else there?
Yeah, is that the same proportion today, or is that Has that changed?
It's, right now, it's 2/3 state police and 1/3 us.
Okay.
That's based on, I cannot share the state police stats. I can look at them, but I cannot share them. So.
Okay. And then I just have a couple more questions. Is as sheriff and hearing the problems that we're experiencing and hearing Steve and Kate speak to their efforts with the community watch, do you see increasing our hours as something that could tangibly lead to more security in our town?
Well, the more hours you add, yes, the more, coverage you're going to get. But I really, as I had a conversation with Mark on the phone, I really leave that up to the taxpayers, to the citizens of the town. We don't have a lot of businesses, a lot of large tax-based business. So, I'm not going to say, well, I need $50,000 or $100,000. I'm not going to do that. It's up to the townspeople, on the level of service.
But an increase in hours would lead to an increase in patrolling.
Kate, are you asking how many more hours?
I mean, I've been asked this question a lot lately, is what can we do? Can we, is as one of the solutions possibly to this issue is, well, if we only have X amount of hours with our sheriff's contract, what would it look like? What do we need to have to use the sheriff and have our town feel safe? And that's the question I'm trying to get at. And I understand that that's a hard question to answer, but I'm wondering, I guess, when Bill, when you look at our contract, do you see it as on par with other towns, irresponsibly low, high? Where do we fit in, if we're all alone in the county with having this problem? I'm trying to get at where the contract fits into that.
Yeah, honestly, this is a difficult question, and you may want to think about increasing it in a proportional way. I'll give you an example, like Corinth. They were going to add $5,000 a year to their contract till they got to $20,000. The second year into that, their grader broke, and the grader took precedence over the enforcement. So it's a difficult question to put a number on right now. But when you look at the amount of incidents that are going on in town, have they been increasing? They're saying yes. So, you may want to think about, looking at the 12,500 and maybe going to, 20,000. I don't know what the exact number would mean, but.
So I have a question here, and following on to Kate, I don't think that that's necessarily going to give us a specific reduction in drug dealing or theft. Is that correct? It would just give us more hours.
Give you more hours, and what we through communications. I think if we could maybe target some of these, if we. The citizens, you guys, if you see a pattern to any of the activity in town here, whether it's Thursday night, Friday night, or maybe a Monday night, I don't know. But if you see that activity, you let us know, we can target those hours. I'm trying to maximize that, your money, your contract money.
Okay, thank you.
Wait a second, Marianne. Kate,
Yes,
did you have something else there?
I have one more final question. With the email address that you mentioned, Bill, is that something that you're hoping to keep just with Community Watch, or is that available for all Chelsea residents?
It'll be available to everyone.
Okay, and do you have that address available?
Yes, it's going to be sheriff@orangecountysheriff.com.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's
Those are all of my questions.
all one word, orangecountysheriff.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kate, are you all set there?
I am.
All right. I know we're in the board's debate period, but there's a question from Mary Ann, and I don't think we have an objection to go to Mary Ann's question. So let's go ahead to that, Mary Ann.
It's just a clarification on what he said. Mr. Bonner, we said that we may want to think about $20,000 upping as a town, upping the capping the total cost of that would be more hours. But if and we acknowledge that there's this drug crime, and we also, prior to what you said, and also what's known in town, this crime happens, and then people are arrested, and then they're released. So how does increasing, in light of that, because without a change at the legislative level or the judge level, in light of that, you might have more money, the sheriffs and the state police, whatever, you might make more arrests, you might put out more calls, but then in fact, they go to the judge and they just get out again. So how does that, the taxpayers are going to end up paying more money, and what will change? How will the results change with that? Do you know what I'm saying?
You know, we have to deal with our current court system. So, but the thing of it is, we just can't give up. We got to keep arresting these people and getting them in front of the judge.
Thank you.
All right. Jeff, you're on. Do you have any comments?
Nope, I'm just listening.
All right, thank you. Kate, you don't see that Mary Ellen's come in or anything, correct?
She's not, no.
Okay, so Mark, do you have any other comments on the motion? All right, so there's obviously no further discussion for this motion, so we'll go ahead and vote on the motion that's been properly seconded to approve the Orange County Sheriff's contract for this year. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, so that's been, the sheriff's contract has been approved.
Do we have the contract? Are they gonna sign it?
Yeah, I've got it right here, so
Yeah.
I'll sign it, Mark will sign it, Kate will come tomorrow, I believe, and we'll
Yeah.
get it to Jeff too. All right, so we all had a good discussion, so we all know what to expect in the future. There'll likely be some modifications, and Mark's going to be taking the lead on that, and we'll all stay in constant contact, and Bill is committed to keeping in touch with our community watch folks through that email and other means that are appropriate, and we appreciate that. So this is definitely not the end of the discussion, but for the purposes of this contract, I think we're good. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Does Bill have to sign the contract or no?
So
He's
just
already signed it.
to clarify, it's 12,500, not to exceed that.
Correct, $12,500. All right, so is there a motion on the floor to approve orders? All right, Mark Whitney has moved to approve orders. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, Kate has seconded it. Is there any further discussion? Phyllis, do you have the numbers?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Phyllis has the numbers. All right, so we don't have any other discussion. Let's vote on that. All in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
All right, so
Did you,
orders
did you,
approved unanimously. Is there any other business? If there is no other business, we can go ahead. Wait a second, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Just one comment.
All right, Mark Whitney has a comment here.
I'm not sure if this falls in community watch, but my wife does a lot more with Facebook than I do. And I know there was a gentleman looking around 113 area, said he was looking for a dog. Was blasting all over Facebook, creepy guy, blah, blah, blah. Apparently the gentleman has lost his dog, had it boarded to Berkshire, and the people who were boarding it gave away. I would like to have, I mean, I don't know, I don't think this is the Community Watch's fault, but maybe if
Yeah,
they,
that was a woman in Berkshire had shared that. And
Yeah.
It got shared on.
but just to be aware that not everybody's creepy, and try to get that out there a little bit, you know, come at it with an open mind.
Yeah.
You know, obviously don't walk up to a stranger and hug them, but try to come at it with an open mind, because this poor guy just lost his dog trying to find it, and there are people all over Facebook posting pictures and faces and cars. And,
Yeah, it was shared like almost 2,000 times.
yeah.
I will say though, last night, which was odd.
This is Stephen Thomas.
The incident that happened right in the village here, the car that did the hit and run, from what the witness said, was a red Suzuki. Maybe
With
it's
the dog.
with a dog. Maybe it's coincidental. I haven't said anything either way. It's just that means that's come up a lot, and I think a lot of my problem is they're being very combative on with the comments, and it just kind of riled everybody up, and it just kept going and going. And I mean, it's easy for people to read things and read a certain way.
It's a charged climate, and
exactly.
But at the same time, I mean, try to come at it with, and encourage people to come at it with an even keel.
I said to the gentleman, I said, you gotta find a better way of doing it. And maybe you lost a dog, and I'm sorry to hear that, but everybody's on edge, so knocking on doors might not be the best idea. And he said, well, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Well,
And you've got a lot of people that are reading that same thing. And
I understand his point too, that from the state police are investigating a fraud problem with the boarding outfit. But from his standpoint, and I can understand, I've got animals. A lost dog on the state police's radar is kind of low on their priorities.
yeah,
I mean, anybody, I mean, that's,
it's just weird. I mean, most people that lose an animal put the sign up, post sign with the dog, or say, hey, contact
well,
me.
I guess he's been at this for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it that's all a little strange.
Hold on, let's see. Yeah, so I understand it. What I'm hearing too is that I mean, there's an opportunity for us to do it different. One thing I do is, when someone's parked at the end of the road, I'll go ask them, do you need help, or are you okay? Because I don't want anybody ODing in my driveway. And generally they'll get moving. So maybe if and I've sent that to you, Stephen. And my thought was that well, that's, we can say here was something that occurred. There's no incident, just a person seemed like they were in trouble, but then they weren't, and they moved on. So maybe if we had something where there'd be a notice, well, there is a guy out looking for a dog, or I don't know, is that something you're thinking, Mark?
Yeah, and
Yeah, there was a post made regarding
to that point,
is missing a dog. He is, I'm not sure who the person was. They posted it to our page, but he said, hey, I've contacted the state police, I've contacted the sheriff, he is missing a dog. I mean, that's been updated. Someone in town did post it.
but to LeVar's point too, just because they're parked at the end of the driveway doesn't mean they're ODing. I know of an incident where an individual was having a stroke and was wobbling through a store looking for, wasn't having a stroke, but a diabetic issue. Wandering through a store, wobbling, bouncing around, wanted candy and a soda, and they wouldn't, they kicked him out. You're drunk, you're obnoxious, get out of our store. The guy knew what was going on, but diabetes is one of those things that really messes with your consciousness. And,
We have one right on 110 here. He hit the guardrails.
Yeah.
And his fenders up in the air. He just kept driving.
My father did that once.
and that's, before you assume that the guy's drunk, could be, probably 90% of the time that might be the problem. But for the, the people that kicked the guy out of their store, luckily, nothing serious happened. He could have pulled over the side of the road and died from a diabetic attack. That'd be kind of rough on your conscience. So just something to be aware of. Don't assume the worst.
So we're trying to make sure that the community feels safe, right? So we're trying to say to people, don't take it into your hands, because a lot of people want to do that. A lot
This is
of people
Kate Thomas.
want to take it into their own hands. So rather than doing that, we're telling the community, hey, if you see something suspicious, don't go out there with a gun. Don't go out there and try and take care of it yourself. Post it so other people can see, so that we can, follow the situation where we're not getting a response from the sheriff, and the state police is like an hour away from us. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're not trying to piss people off. We're trying to make it so the community has a resource to speak what's going on.
We're done with public comment, aren't we?
So, Mark, you all set? All right, so I guess we're all encouraging each other to operate safely, so, like there's no further, business, so we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
That's six.
July 6th.
Yeah, 6 July is the next meeting.
The first Tuesday.